What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to Down to the Wire. I'm Brian Kostiw, and we've got a great episode in store for you. On today's show, we'll be giving you our thoughts on Chris Sale's rampage at Polar Park, as well as look at the MLB's future plans to expand. After that, we'll take a look at Baker Mayfield getting sent to Carolina, and finally wrap up by talking about the Boston Celtics and the moves they have made so far in this offseason. Obviously, guys, this is going to be a ton of news to talk about, and I am glad once again to be bringing on a special guest to today's program. You've seen him many times before. However, it's been far too long since he's been on this show. I've been glad to have him on many times before. I love having him on, and he is a fellow podcast host himself. He hosts the Pesky Pole Podcast. It is a Red Sox podcast. Goes up weekly, and he always talks, great Red Sox takes and is an amazing contributor there. So without any further ado, please welcome to the show, Mr. Robert Shelley. Rob, welcome back.
I should have brought the tank top for this episode, not the polo, but had to be a little bit more professional.
Yeah, you know what, Rob, you got to tone it down, do what you got to do. But listen, while you got to be professional, Rafi Devers is being anything but that. He's absolutely torching the Yankees right now, has 2 home runs off Garrett Cole tonight. And so far, so good. But, man, obviously it's been a little bit since you've been on the show. How are you doing?
I'm not doing too bad. Just enjoying my time out here in the Rocky Mountains. How you doing, my man?
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. I've been great so far myself. Obviously, have had a lot of things going on this summer. One of those things that I'll talk about is going to involve our first story of the night, however, and that is in fact Chris Sale, the ace of the Red Sox this season, has been sidelined for all of 2022 so far, as he dealt with a stress fracture in his rib cage during spring training while he was attempting to throw. I guess the torque caused a bit of a fracture, and has basically had to sit out for parts of the year, have to make some simulated game appearances, and has finally started to actually make some rehab starts. On Thursday, last Thursday, he made a rehab start with the Portland Sea Dogs, so he made a start up there. And then last night, he finally came back to Worcester, Massachusetts, and made a start for the AAA affiliate of the Boston Red Sox, the Worcester Red Sox. And my God, it was a nightmare. Let me just say that, to be frank with you. I mean, listen, honestly, it wasn't that, he was all that bad. Obviously, wasn't that great either, though. He only pitched 3 2/3 innings, allowed 3 hits, 5 walks, which is probably the most alarming part of that night. Yep. Still had 5 Ks on 72 pitches. The guy was most likely on a pitch count, and they were going to try to get him out in the game so he could get that standing ovation. But the performance of Chris Sale isn't what we're going to be talking about tonight. It is what he did after he left the ballpark. And it is that he basically did everything you could imagine after leaving the ballpark, because some cell phone footage came out, and Chris Sale, you see him walk off the mound, go into the dugout, and he goes into the Woo Sox tunnel and takes a baseball bat, smashes it around, and then proceeds to absolutely obliterate a TV in the team hallway. It was unreal. People are going nuts about this thing right now. People have said, oh, maybe the TV was broken. There were some things already going on. But Rob, he went crazy in that dugout. What was your reaction to that video when you saw it?
Okay. So the first thing that came to my mind is I didn't watch the game, or I didn't hear about the game, so I didn't know how good / bad he pitched. So the first thing that went through my mind is, oh, he just met a girl from Worcester. And that's a typical reaction, I don't blame the guy at all. Been there, done that, never again, Trust me, never date a girl from Worcester. All right. That's a first. Second, on an actual serious note, I honestly laughed at it. I thought it was kind of hilarious. I mean, when you're talking about Chris Sale, stuff like this is not a first.
No,
sadly, it's part of the game when you bring him in. It's just like the Warriors with Draymond Green. I mean, what he does is part of what makes him the player that he is. Chris Sale, I mean, obviously we had the jersey incident with the White Sox years and years ago before we traded for him. He's going to have these little antics. We thought, this has stopped since he's got to the Red Sox. Obviously not. I mean, he's passionate about what he does, and he hasn't been out there throwing a game in the longest. And actually, maybe what I can do for a little down to the wire exclusive. Hopefully I hear it back. I'm going to message somebody who I will keep anonymous, and I will see if they have anything to say about Chris Sale, because this player played with him in Portland last week, a couple weeks ago.
So you have some so you got some intel on this. I know when Chris Sale was up in Portland, ironically, during his time there, he actually was in the Sea Dogs team photo, because during his rehab assignment, that just happened to be the time that the team was taking their team photo. So he said it's his first minor league team photo he's ever been a part of. So he ended up doing that. And, while there has been some bad going on with Chris Sale, people have said, have been other, reports coming out that he actually, paid $6,000 and, took the team out to like a steak dinner, gave them all these treats, spent like $6,000. Yeah, spent $6,000 on 55 people, I think was the number. And, kind of showed them, just like what a big leaguer can do for you. And, while that's all great and nice, the Woo Sox tunnel is still a wreck. And let me tell you, this night was something to really marvel at. And it's because, one thing I was mentioning to Rob before the show is that this summer I'm actually interning with the Worcester Red Sox Foundation. So I've been at a lot of Woo Sox games so far this year. And let me tell you, the hype for this game was through the roof, because last year the Woo Sox had themselves a Chris Sale rehab start, and it did them wonders, because not only did Chris Sale come and people were, hyped up, there was a moment in that game the first time Chris Sale made a rehab start where Tate Matheny, the son of Mike Matheny, robbed a home run in like center field, and it turned into a amazing clips to where not only do you get a Chris Sale bobblehead, which I have up here, here's Chris Sale, you actually also have a Tate Matheny bobblehead, which I have back here, if I can grab it. Yeah. So you get a two-part Tate Matheny bobblehead, combine that with Chris Sale, and it's the reaction of the play to where Tate Matheny is robbing the home run and Chris Sale is celebrating with his arms in the air.
That is beautiful.
So that's the image right there. So the Woo Sox have been able to make bank off this. I mean, they've marketed that Chris Sale rehab start, and in their mind, seeing him come back again was the best thing that they could possibly ask for, because it was just like, oh, we have a possibility to sell even more bobbleheads and create even more memorabilia. And I'm just going to say it first. There needs to be a Chris Sale bobblehead of him kicking a TV screen in. It needs to happen. And what needs to happen is there, these bobbleheads right here, they have special, they actually have a special voice box.
He's on the run, still back to the track, to the wall. He leaps, and did he get it? He did.
Wow.
So they come with a special little thing right like that. And I don't know. It's a nice, yeah. All right. Here we go.
It's got to go through its course.
It's got to go through its course. All right. Yeah. Just don't want to hit that button again, because then we'll have to deal with that. But it's a cool little bobblehead. It has like a bunch of little things like that, and it's nice. So, people were like, oh, this will be great. And it has that nice little voice box. My opinion, if there's another Chris Sale bobblehead night, it needs to be of him kicking it in a TV. And then the little sound box has to have the Stone Cold Steve Austin intro with just the glass breaking and just go from there. And that's my opinion of what needs to happen from there on out. Because the Woo Sox can't run from this. They need to jump on this and make this into a marketing bonanza. Because
it's not at the same hype as this thing I'm about to say, but it kind of reminds me of David Ortiz in the phone.
Yeah.
At Baltimore.
Yeah. No, I could see it
that's
being
why
in that sort of light.
The next time that Chris Sale comes over to a rehab, you need to, bring him out. You need to present him with the fragments of the things that he destroyed and let him know, please don't do this again. This was fun once. This cost us a lot of money.
Yeah. I would definitely say don't do this again, Chris. I mean, listen, it kind of is a little embarrassing, though, to say the least, because, I mean, this is a AAA rehab start. Like, what are you doing here? I know you're not trying to be with the Woo Sox long term, but, you didn't have the greatest start. So what? I mean, I was also watching part of that game, and the umpire in that game, it's a AAA umpire. And, in Chris Sale's mind, I think what really got to him, at least in part of it, was that, he had the bases loaded and he walked in a run. That was like a big thing for him, which I think kind of really got him mad leaving that game. Yeah. So, I mean, you can say all you want about it. And, was it professional? Obviously not. But, obviously Chris Sale wants to get back to the big leagues. So he's not really trying to, make an impression down in Worcester. But at the same time, the people of Worcester were really hyped about this. I mean, I was going through Polar Park and everyone was saying to each other, hey man, happy sale day. Like everyone was really pumped about this start. So to see it kind of go the way it did was, kind of bad in retrospect, but all in all, it was a great night at the ballpark. The Woo Sox Foundation was able to raise a lot of money off the Chris Sale start. So awesome. It was a great night to be there. But obviously, we're not going to be talking about Chris Sale with the Worcester Red Sox for too long. Hopefully, he's going to be back
before you change the subject.
What's up?
Two things. One, basically, when he had that start in Portland, my friend Ari, who I had on the show last week, who lives up in Maine, was telling me the same thing. He's like, yeah. It was announced that Chris Sale was going to make this rehab start this day. Tickets were sold out in like an hour. Yeah. No, my family actually went up to Old Orchard Beach for the 4th of July weekend. And we were considering going a day early to go to the AA rehab start, but we checked the ticket prices. And the day before, like my brother saw that the tickets went for like $15, checked again, they were $80. Yep.
And it was like, wow, this is ridiculous. So we didn't end up going to that one.
And second, my anonymous contact has received my message. He has seen it. I'm not sure if he will leave me on red, but he saw it 3 minutes ago, so it's looking like it's a maybe.
Yeah.
On that,
all right,
which I understand.
You know what? If he ends up responding to it, then, we can talk about that then at that point. But, obviously maybe we can go back to that at the end of the show. However, there is a lot of stuff going on with Chris Sale right now. Obviously, what I was going to say is we're not going to be talking about his Woo Sox career for far too long, as obviously we want him to get back to the majors as soon as possible. And after this rehab start, that looks like that could be the case. Maybe he's able to get his start in before the All-Star break, maybe in the series against the Yankees or the Rays. So obviously the Red Sox this season were off to a very slow start, but now are leading in the wild card race. With Chris Sale, possibly returning to this team, how do you feel about the Sox down the stretch?
We've just been so injury prone this year.
Yeah.
I can't really say anything. The Yankees have been kicking it, right? They've been whooping everyone that's come in their path. Tonight's been a crazy game. But still, the Yankees just show no signs of slowing down. They're going for it. And we've just had guy after guy after guy go down. I mean, was it Xander or was it or was it Devers who had the stitches? Then
I believe it was Xander.
Mm-hmm. We have Rich Hill spraining his knee. He's out for an indefinite amount of time. Evaldi's out. Sale's out. Whitlock's out. Matt Barnes is out. When you got
Josh Taylor's down in the minors right now. Christian Arroyo was out for a considerable amount of time. I say the stuff about the minor leagues because I've been at the games and seeing these guys make these rehab starts. So
which is awesome. I love how that's a thing.
Yeah.
Like you could just go. It helps the young guys there because it's immense. I mean, look at what happened when was it DeGrom who made a single A?
Yeah.
Start and just all the guys were sitting there watching him warm up. The big leaguers have such an impact on the minors. Plus, great for the fans. I mean, you get to go out, you get to see your local team, and boom, there's a major leaguer there.
Yeah, no, it's an awesome experience for those guys. But, obviously, I don't know, like with this now happening, I don't know. I think that Chris Sale is going to be a great addition for us, but I will agree with you. Injuries have plagued us for the most part this year, too. Another guy that's been out for a while, too, has been Kike Hernandez. Luckily, Jarren Duran has stepped up big time in center field. He's our leadoff hitter right now. And what's really awesome about that is, we saw Jarren Duran last year. He just didn't look like he was ready for the major leagues. He is now an impact player. He has been amazing for us so far. I'd like to see some of the power that he displayed in AAA when I went to Woo Sox games last year, make that way into the big leagues. Because Rob, when I tell you Jarren Duran hits absolute moonshots at Polar Park, I don't know what it is, but the ball like corkscrews out of the ballpark. It is unreal what he's able to do down there. So hopefully that can translate to Fenway sooner rather than later, but we'll have to see on that. But, I think that Sale coming back down the stretch is going to be pretty big for the Sox. They're going to do, I think, similar to what they did with him last year, to where they work him back on an innings limit. they may be able to get him back quicker though, because, last year he was coming off of Tommy John surgery and, they were trying to, get him back and, build up the endurance in the arm. That's not really the question at this point. The endurance is, can this man eat a burger and put on 5 pounds so he doesn't break whenever he twists around to go pitch? That's the only question now at this point, to where, can this man survive this at this point? And, Chris Sale's had some very questionable injuries throughout his career. This is one of them. I remember during the 2018 World Series run, he got an infection from a belly button ring. So this isn't the first time
covering that.
Yeah. So this isn't the first time we've seen something with Chris Sale go like this. So hopefully we're able to, see Chris Sale come back, be maybe 75, 80% of the pitcher that he once was. And, again, that's all we need to really make a run at this point.
Mm-hmm. We need that, and we need to buy at the deadline for either a closer or another starter to move Whitlock back into the bullpen.
Yeah.
As much as I love my boy Garrett Whitlock, he's not a starter.
No, he's not a starter. He does very well out of the bullpen, but it's those long starts and relief appearances where he starts to get into trouble. When you get him in a punch and it's like, hey, throw Garrett out there for 1 or 2 innings, he's dynamite. But when it becomes 3, 4, 5 innings, you're going to run into trouble at that point.
Yeah. It's just like our boy John Schreiber.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, John Schreiber.
However
John.
His name. He's a
good Schreiber's been awesome as well so far this year. But again, it's short stints.
He's in there for like 2 batters.
Yeah, and he does his job and he gets the outs that he needs. So, pitching obviously for the Sox for a long time has kind of always been an issue. I know, starting pitching is, was strong for a couple of years and the bullpen was always a struggle. But now even starting pitching, it's going to take some time to get these guys back. So
hold on, I got to look up how many starting pitchers we've had this year, because typically you're only supposed to have, knock on wood, no injuries, no nothing.
Yeah.
You're supposed to have 5 guys that rotate between your starts.
Sometimes 6. You can have a 6th, sometimes go guy.
If you got like a really busy
stretch.
Yeah. So let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 guys, with Brian Bello being the last one.
Yeah.
Have made starts for us. Shout out to my boy Josh Winkowski. We just got the news about the score. We lost 6-5 versus the Yankees.
That's a tough one, but
that's tough to swallow. But
yeah. Actually, kind of going off the pitching too, though, with Brian Bello, he's a great young prospect. I've been able to sit in on some front office meetings with the Worcester Red Sox, and
really?
Yeah, that's part of the that's one of the perks I've been able to get with the internship so far. It's a really great experience. Guess who one of the people in that meeting room is?
Who?
Larry Lucchino.
Does that name sound familiar?
He's one of the core people that helped build those championship teams for the Red Sox.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
In Woo Sox?
Yeah. So he ended up getting a ownership group, and he ended up purchasing the Paw Sox and moved them to Worcester.
Still one of the worst moves of all time. I'm sorry.
Listen, they're actually having a Paw Sox Heritage Day on Saturday.
I saw that. That's going to be good, but still, I mean, I said this when it came out back in 2020. When your logo is just an emoji with a baseball hat and arms, it's not really striking fear into the hearts of anyone.
Well, you know why we did that, right? It's because Worcester is the birthplace of the smiley face.
I don't care. All right, I'm sorry. I know it's got some history behind it, but it's not really striking fear into the hearts of, anyone out there when I'm going up against the Woo Sox with the smiley face on their hats.
Yeah. I will tell you this though. I work with one of the guys that I worked with. I just met him yesterday though, but he's in charge of graphic design and stuff. And he showed me a mock-up of one of the Woo Sox logos that he had in the works. And it wasn't the smiley, just casual, smiley face ball. It was this, really it looked like an early 2000s logo. It was the similar circle mascot, but it had this weird, it had this cool, gritting teeth thing. It looked really mad. It had really angry eyes. He was holding a bat and, and then his arms were just roided out.
Damn.
It actually looked kind of sick. I was I would legitimately buy that merch. So
I feel like they could do something great for like a Halloween logo.
That might be a great Halloween logo. Let me tell you, if I could ever get a hold of that picture again, it's a great logo. But yeah, obviously we've been talking about the Red Sox for a while now. Let's just jump into some more, general MLB topics. And with that being said, I'm going to say something that I thought I'd never say. And it's that I actually like a possible move that Rob Manfred is doing. I would never think I'd say this, but, I have hated Rob Manfred since basically he's taken the job as MLB commissioner. And listen, being the commissioner of a professional sports team is no easy job. It's far from it. But I've questioned a lot of the moves Manfred's done. I've said that he's kind of killing the game. And this is actually a move which I think is probably going to help the game. And it's that he announced recently that he is eyeing to expand Major League Baseball to 32 teams. He hasn't announced any cities of interest or anything like that, but 32 teams, so 2 more teams onto the 30 that we have now. Obviously, there would be some sort of expansion draft, something to go along with that. Maybe some more minor league teams would come back, and we get something of that sort. But
bring back the Spinners.
Yeah, maybe they could be. They could possibly be an affiliate of one of these new teams, so that's on the table. But I want to ask you, Rob, there are a couple cities in mind that could maybe work for an MLB expansion. What do you think would be a good city to expand to?
All right. So my actual answer is the Northwest ain't getting no love up there with their baseball teams. All they have is Seattle to root for. And when all you have is Seattle, you're a depressed MLB fan. So obviously those people don't like MLB that much. All right. Bring back the love of baseball up to the Northwest. Put a team in Boise, Idaho. Damn it.
Boise,
I'm
Idaho.
saying it. Boise.
Okay. Let's be.
Okay. Realistic answers though. We're gonna get teams in Vegas and Nashville.
Okay. Here's the thing though. I in the list of teams that I had included in this, I made a special note to say to not list Las Vegas, because if Las Vegas is likely to get a team, it's not going to be via expansion, and it's actually going to be Oakland. It's going to be Oakland going there, because I think there were reports even coming out that MLB would waive the relocation fee for the A's if they're to go to Las Vegas. So if they're going to make the move, if Las Vegas is getting a team, it's going to be the Oakland A's. So that's most likely what it's going to be. So
I mean, in all honesty, I could see a team either going to maybe Albuquerque.
Albuquerque would be good.
Or maybe Austin or Mexico City.
Okay, yeah.
I do believe that the second team is going to be in Nashville, though. Mainly because our old friend, if you remember his name, Dave Dombrowski, that beautiful man that we all loved for one ring, but then hated for everything that followed.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's basically been the front runner of a group to try and get a team in Nashville for about 2-3 years now.
Yeah, no, there's a big push to get a team in Nashville. I think there's also like a former major leaguer kind of heading it as well. They've been trying to push for a team for a while now. I think that they even have a name if they were to get a team there. It would be the Nashville Stars, which I guess pays homage to a former Negro League team that used to play there back in the day. So
is it a hockey team though?
No, it's the Dallas Stars is a hockey team.
Dallas Stars. Yeah. Nashville's is
the Predators.
The Predators.
Yeah. So Nashville would get a baseball team. That would be a great market, I think. Nashville, I mean, I don't know how they would respond to baseball, but I mean, it's in Tennessee. You have Tennessee baseball, which is great in and of itself. But then I'll just see videos of Nashville, just during like a country concert or just like the streets just packed on a day-to-day basis. It's basically New Orleans in Tennessee. It is crazy there.
So as somebody who's lived in Tennessee for a few years, basically, yeah, that's all 100% true. When it comes to sports, it's almost all college, though.
Yeah.
They love the Vols. Doesn't matter what sport. Everyone out there is rooting for the Vols. One thing we can all hang our hats on. Tennessee Titans, not really, in all honesty. There are people who are like, yeah, I root for them because it's Tennessee, but you don't see too many diehard fans, right? Which is a complete contradiction to out here in Colorado. The people out here love the Broncos. It's either you're with us or against us. Bronco Nation, everybody loves football out here. I honestly love it. But going back to Nashville, I think that after a few years, it would be well adapted because the closest you have is probably Atlanta. And Atlanta, I mean, is still, even from southeastern Tennessee, where I lived in Tennessee, it's still 3.5 hours to get to Atlanta each way. So the people up in Nashville, out in Memphis, don't really have a team to call their own. I think if you throw a team out in Nashville, it would take probably a year or two, but then that team will be widely regarded as Tennessee's team.
Yeah, no, I think that would definitely be a fit, and I can 100% agree with you on the college, on like the college centric experience, because I remember I went down to Florida back, I think it was like my freshman year of high school, and it was at the time I actually went to the Orange Bowl between Clemson and Oklahoma. It was oh wow, that's actually a crazy thing. I'll have to mention that in my next story, but I'll have to mention that, but I'll have that as a segue because I just realized something which is very interesting. Little preview, but it was the Orange Bowl between Clemson and Oklahoma. And there was I met a bunch of Clemson fans down there, and I was asking them, I was like, oh, like mentioning some stuff that was going on currently in sports. I mentioned it was around the time when Dez Bryant dropped the ball, or was ruled that he dropped the ball. And I was like, man, what do you guys think about that? Dez Bryant, all that stuff. And they ended up going, Dez Bryant, didn't he go to Oklahoma like a couple of years back? I was like, yeah, but now he's with the Cowboys. They were like, we don't follow that.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. So for a lot of college football fans, once a player leaves their school, they kind of just like, it's kind of like, they're gone now.
Yeah.
So
it's honestly a little bit easier to look for college sports because it's so marketed to, a certain town or a certain like square mileage. It's not like I said, out in the Northwest part for baseball, if you're a major league fan, all you have is Seattle out there. That's it. In the college world, like I said, you could be in the middle of Boise, Idaho, and a lot of Boise today. Sorry about that. Shout out to all my Boise fans out there. If you're listening down to the wire and you're in Boise, let them know through the Instagram. You already know what it is. Anyway, if you're out there in Boise, you have your hometown. What is that team? Is it called Boise? Is the school called Boise?
Yeah,
it's a team with a blue field.
Yeah,
they had to do it on the cover of the NCAA football game back in what year was it? I can't remember.
Yeah,
nobody talks about Boise.
But anyways, I think that would really work out there. And it's a very interesting vibe down there because we're up. Rob, we grew up in the Northeast, and for us, college teams are pretty much non-existent. I mean, college basketball, you'll get a couple teams. I mean, I go to Bryant now, and we're starting to get a little bit of a crew together, so that's been pretty fun.
But this year, and you're getting, who's that dude you're getting from?
Doug Eddard.
Doug, okay.
Yeah.
For some reason, I kept thinking it was Drew Timmy who you were getting, but no,
that would have been insane if we got Drew Timmy. That would be awesome. But no, we did not get Drew Timmy. That would have been a game changer. But what I was going to say though is college football in the Northeast is pretty much non-existent versus in the South, it's life.
It's life.
Like for these guys, they had their dads and their grandfathers. They all went to these schools, and now their kids are going to go to these schools, and it's in their blood to go to these schools.
Die for those schools,
and it's just a completely different atmosphere down there. So you do have to factor that in with adding these teams in, but I do agree. I think, you get a team like the Stars in, they'd probably be, on that small market side. And I think, eventually over time you could build up a following, and, maybe if they can pull off what the Vegas Golden Knights did when, they made their way into the Stanley Cup final in their first year of existence. Yep. That's how you capture a lot of fans, and that's how you completely take over a fan base. Another area, which I think would be great for a team though, is, Portland, Oregon. I think that would be a great area as well. Because you were talking about getting a team in Boise, Idaho. Portland, Oregon would be a great area as well, because not only do you, because I mean it's a great market because you already have the Blazers up there. That's proven to be very effective up there, And there's already even an effort to get that going. You were mentioning the Broncos. Their new quarterback, Russell Wilson, has been a part of an initiative to get a Diamond Sports Ball Club in the Portland area for the past couple of years now. I guess there's been talks to get teams in Portland since like the early 2000s. So this has been in the works for a while. So those would be two great teams. Maybe there'd be some talks to get Montreal back in the mix, but there's not really any traction with that. The only other thing I could think of outside of that, though, would be Oklahoma City.
I can maybe see that. I'm kind of on the board of getting a team international, like another team international, but down in Mexico.
Yeah,
because
Mexico.
Just how much the game has grown and how much it is really driven towards the Latino side. Mm-hmm. I think you put a team down in Mexico City, immediate results when it comes to fans.
Yeah, you definitely have a point there. I think that could be huge if you get a team down there. So obviously, there's some great options. I'm interested to see what Rob Manfred does next. Again, a sentence I thought I would never say.
But another 10 years, yeah.
Yeah. But anywho, we're now going to move over into NFL news, and I'm going to explain the second part of my story because it involves the headline I have going on in NFL news. So I went down to the Orange Bowl in 2015. It was on New Year's Eve, so it was about to be 2016. And I was down with me, my dad, my brother. And in the game, we got to see the Clemson Tigers face off against the Oklahoma Sooners. And guess the two quarterbacks for those teams.
What year are we talking about?
2015, 2016.
So Oklahoma has to be Baker. No, it's Kyler.
No.
Is it Baker?
Yes.
It's Baker and then Clemson?
And then who's the quarterback for Clemson?
Oh yeah, give me a second. It's not. Is it Deshaun Watson?
Yes, sir.
Oh, is that the game where it ended with Deshaun rolling out to the right, hitting his tight end?
No, that was against Alabama. Clemson against Oklahoma absolutely rolled over Oklahoma. It was Baker's first year as a starter in college, but I find that incredible that the two quarterbacks that caused some controversy on the Cleveland Browns. Obviously, the Browns traded for Deshaun Watson recently and just traded away Baker Mayfield. I got to see them share a football field back in college, which is pretty interesting. But obviously, with that being said, Baker Mayfield is no longer a part of the Cleveland Browns. The former first overall pick got shipped to the Carolina Panthers for a 2024 conditional fifth rounder. So, this has been, quite the scandal, not scandal, but just kind of escapade going on with Baker and the Browns. He's been the fan favorite up in Cleveland for a long time now. Loved the fans up there, really loved the area, but the Browns seemed just ready to move on from Baker. I mean, frankly, he was beat up as all hell last year, and they were really trying to, and I just don't understand the fact that they moved on in the way that they did, but they saw a chance to go get Deshaun Watson. They did it. And right now it looks like it is blowing up in their face miserably.
Mm-hmm. So I want you to say that sentence of the trade again, but real slow. First overall pick, traded for a fifth round pick.
Yes.
Just 5 years after he was drafted.
Mm-hmm.
And you could say what you want about Baker. Some people aren't the biggest fans of him, myself included. Like I would never want him on my team. Some people are really big fans of him, which is completely understandable. He's had some great years in Cleveland. But at the end of the day, we're talking about the Cleveland Browns. And we knew it was about damn time that they were going to mess this up.
Yep.
I mean, they were looking on the high road to being, playoff contenders every now and again. They would have to fight with the Ravens and not really the Steelers, but the Bengals. They would need to fight with those two teams for a couple of years, but they could fight out a playoff appearance every now and then. And who knows, maybe make a Cinderella run. But, of course, they have to be the Cleveland Browns. They have to throw all of their money, all of their chips into the guy who's going to be put in the equivalent of football jail, when he should probably be put in regular jail, for at least a year. He's going to be suspended for a long time. So, basically, I believe that they figured out he was going to be basically suspended for a year. Went to Baker, said, hey, you mind being the starting QB this year? And he said, y'all can kiss my you-know-what. And he finally got traded to Carolina for the 5th round pick, and he will be getting paid over $500,000 by the Cleveland Browns to try and beat the Cleveland Browns week 1.
Yeah,
If that
that's
is
the
not
thing.
the most Cleveland Browns thing I have ever said. Actually, it might be the most New York Giants thing I've ever said, but same thing.
Same breath. Listen, when it came to Baker Mayfield and the Browns, I understand Cleveland, trying to take the route of a franchise. They're trying to, make that step up and, try to, elevate yourself and try to get to a new level. I understand that. It's what every team tries to do. However, the Cleveland Browns aren't every team. The Cleveland Browns have been, as one of their fans said, a factory of sadness, and they have perpetually let fans down and have put a miserable product out on the field for years. That changed when Baker Mayfield became the quarterback of that team. It was slow, but surely they were able to make a very, very respectable product. And Baker Mayfield, was able to take this team to the playoffs. And were they the most dynamic team when they got there? Absolutely not. I mean, they were able to hang in there sometimes, but they weren't really all that. To trade that away for Deshaun Watson, who is not going to play this season. He is going to be suspended. He is going to miss significant time, possibly even the season after this season, based on the suspension that he's going to get. It is the most Cleveland Browns thing that we have ever seen. And in my opinion, Baker Mayfield is going to go out there and he is going to torch the Browns week 1, because I have never been the biggest Baker Mayfield fan, but if you want to put a bet down, if you want a pissed off, again, first overall quarterback, quality quarterback,
100%.
who knows that Browns defense inside and out, Baker Mayfield is going to torch the Browns week 1, because they're going to have Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. And no offense to Jacoby Brissett, loved him for getting that 28-0 win over the Texans. He is not going to be able to withstand Baker Mayfield, because he is going to have some great talent coming down the stretch with him. And they are going to torch the Browns week 1.
Hey, I love my boy Jacoby Brissett. You better put some respect on his damn name.
I would always put some respect on Jacoby Brissett's name, but listen, it's not really about Jacoby Brissett. It's going to be about, what he's going to
be the Browns overall.
Exactly. Because, the Browns are still going to give reps to Watson. And then, similar to Andrew Luck, they're just going to throw this thing in Brissett's lap week 1 and say, hey man, you're going to be the guy we go with. So, I think Baker's going to torch the Browns week 1. However, I think that he's going to have to do some team building exercises with one particular member of his team, and that is wide receiver Robbie Anderson. So I said about a couple months ago on my show, there was a report that came out where Robbie Anderson commented on a Panthers fan page. It's called Panthers.way was the name of the page. And basically it was the page posted a rumor about the Panthers being interested in trading for Baker Mayfield. And Robbie Anderson just comments on this post, no, just end with a bunch of O's, and just said that straight up and was like, I do not want this man on my team. And it was like clear as day. Like you couldn't make a clearer sentiment that the number 1 wide receiver on the Panthers did not want this guy on his roster. And it was like, this guy would rather play with Sam Darnold over you. Yeah. That's saying something. I mean, it's saying a lot more than we'd think. I mean, I wouldn't want to play with Sam Darnold over Baker Mayfield. I'd take Baker Mayfield all day, but that's a crazy development to happen there too. What do you think is going to happen with Robbie Anderson? What's Baker Mayfield going to do to get Robbie Anderson on his good side?
So I'll start with this. All right. You told me before we hit the record button that you were working as a camp counselor, right?
Yep.
First of all, shout out to all the camp counselor moms, right? I had to say it. Anyway, with that out of the way, you might need to step in, and you might need to get some of those icebreakers of, okay, I have the ball. Whoever I throw it to, you're gonna say your name, where you're from, and what you're excited for. Those little icebreakers. You might need to step in and handle that. But in all seriousness, you could look at this from 2 sides. First of all, Robbie Anderson's your number 1 wide receiver. Obviously, he's one of the better receivers you've had in a hot minute. So he deserves a say in the matter of who he's getting thrown to, or who's getting the ball thrown from. Now, is it more of a personal stats matter of he wants somebody who could up his personal stats, or does he want somebody who can help contribute for the team? That is yet to be said. But on the other hand, it's Robbie Anderson. It's not like we're talking about one of the best wide receivers in the league. Obviously a great talent and obviously somebody who should be taken seriously when it comes to wide receivers, but not really in that sort of talent pool to be able to say, yeah, this dude, I don't want to be my wide receiver or my quarterback. DK Metcalf can go out there and he can go up to Pete Carroll and say, this guy's the guy I want throwing to me. Whether that's Geno Smith or Drew Lock, DK Metcalf has the power to, because he's that good of a wide receiver. Robbie Anderson really isn't in that boat. So, I mean, if you're Carolina's front office, you could look at it from both sides. And honestly, neither side would really think that you're wrong if you go with the other. It's kind of a not really a win-win situation, but you don't really have pressure from either side. Robbie Anderson really has no leverage here.
Yeah,
suck it up.
I kind of agree with you. I mean, listen, Robbie Anderson, again, he's a great talent, but at the end of the day, man, you're going to catch the ball from whoever the Panthers decide you're going to catch the ball from. It's basically as simple as that.
Let's be honest for a hot second. I heard this and I'll never let it go. The Carolina Panthers basically treat their quarterbacks like a starting rotation.
Yeah.
Right. They're going to have Baker come in for the first half. And then around the fifth inning, Sam Darnold's going to tag in. He's going to get some reps. And then to close it out, we're going to have some PJ Walker action. That's just how it's going to be.
Yeah, that has been an issue with the Panthers basically since Cam Newton's left the scene there. They've been, just trying a different array of things to see what they can do at quarterback, including bringing Cam Newton back for a hot second, which
for Lord knows why.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were just trying to, see if lightning could strike twice and, sold
Cam
some
tickets. Retire.
Yeah, it sold them some tickets, so maybe not the worst thing. Maybe from a business perspective, they were like, hell, let's try to make some money this year. So. Yeah. You got to respect the hustle, respect the grind. But with that being said, though, I
just have to say one more thing.
What's up?
I'm sorry, but this is from one of my good friends who I met in college down in New Jersey.
Okay.
Don't move to New Jersey. All right. This is one of my buddies named Brian, diehard Panthers fan. Loves them to death. I asked him yesterday, I said, you holding on to hope for Baker? And he said, this gave me hope for the 2023 draft. And if that's not the consensus of most Panther fans, I don't know what is.
Wow. So the hope is not high then, I can assume, right?
The hope is for the draft. They're like, hey, we've kind of struck goals in a couple of these drafts. Let's keep it going.
Interesting. All right.
Slow grind.
Yeah, but obviously, I think Baker Mayfield will have a successful season with the Panthers this year. I think that it's the best quarterback they've had since Cam Newton's MVP year. I mean, it's not very difficult to say that. So, I think that he's going to go out there at least torch the Browns week 1. We know that. I mean, he's going to go out there with a vengeance. And I think the Browns are just going to be over their Twitter. I think the Browns are going to be over there twiddling their thumbs, just saying like, oh boy, what have we done? And maybe Cleveland does get the last laugh. Maybe Deshaun Watson comes back and is able to, lead this team to a championship in a couple of years. But
in a couple of years, yeah.
But let's be real. I don't think that's happening. I think that
Baker made 3 first-round picks?
Yeah.
3 first-round picks for somebody who's going to be coming off of not playing for 2 years straight, and you expect them to lead you to the promised land.
Yeah, that's the thing too, is like it's not even that he's injured and he's trying to really battle back and he's like still going through the progressions. This man's going to be sitting out for 2 straight seasons. I don't care what it means for you to go back in. Because here's the thing. Again, if he was injured, he'd still have access to like all the facilities, get healthy, be involved with the team. When you're suspended, you're not allowed to be with the team. When Tom Brady was suspended for 4 games in the Patriots, he's not allowed to go into Gillette Stadium's facilities. He had to run practices at his house with Wes Welker.
Yeah. Which, I mean, is completely understandable when you're suspended. It's kind of the whole reason of being suspended.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, it's not even like an injury that they're trying to battle back from. It's not like he's Teddy Bridgewater trying to battle back from all that. Where is Teddy Bridgewater now?
Shoot, you make a good point.
Did he
But
sign?
Listen, I'm not, I'd forget, honest to God, but whatever it is, like, it's not like a Bridgewater situation or an injury thing. Obviously, the situation with Watson is its own kind of nightmare. I don't even want to try to even get into all the specifics with that. It's a crazy scene over there, but I don't know. I think I think that Baker's going to have a good week 1 and then just see what Watson can do from there whenever he does return. I think that he'll be good. I think he'll be all right. He's definitely going to have to shake some of the rust off, but just go from there.
Yeah. By the way, Teddy, after his stint in Denver, is now in Miami.
Okay, yeah, I do remember that. He did go down to the Dolphins. So yeah, he's backing up Tua, because I think I made a take on that saying that you could possibly see Teddy Bridgewater taking over during the middle of that season if Tua goes downhill.
Yeah. All I remember is so many people out here complaining about Teddy Two Gloves. So many, you don't even know, my man.
Yeah, I can only imagine. But with that being said, that kind of covers what we have in NFL news. So finally, we're going to wrap things up by talking about the NBA and our beloved Boston Celtics. Obviously, Rob, you had a very interesting relationship with the Celtics after their loss in the NBA Finals. You posted a reel on your Instagram account, and it absolutely blew up. Got 4 million
viral
views.
and a half. 4 million. Now, let me just say this. When I originally created it, I was just like, I need to create something that goes kind of viral just to help the Pesky Pole Podcast. Because for the people who don't know me, I'm the most inconsistent dude when it comes to podcasting ever. I'm basically giving the podcasting one last shot. Hey, I'm being serious. Like, if I can't keep it consistent anymore, we're icing, which sad to say, but I got to hold myself to something at this point. I've just been too inconsistent. But I'm like, you know what? I've been losing followers on the Pesky Pole Instagram. I need something. Let me post a reel. Hope that it gets 10,000 views. I get 10,000 views, maybe get like 40 followers or so. I'm good. 4 million plays, 360,000 likes, and 600 plus people following me off of that one 20-second thing of freaking Charlie Puth in the background singing "See You Again," Tatum hitting a 3 with all the sliders on rookie. For my 2K fans, you already know. Sliders on rookie, boosted to the heavens on 100. Score 406-20. And I could have gone higher. I legitimately could have. I spent the first 4 minutes of the game trying to foul out James Wiseman because it was so important for me to have that be realistic and have him out of the game.
Nice.
So I could have legitimately hit 500.
That's ridiculous. All right. But anyways, the Boston Celtics obviously did not get the result that Rob wanted to in that game, and they did lose the finals in game 6. And, had a lot of people wondering, what are the Celtics going to do in free agency to, try to get back to the finals? Are they going to make a trade for Kevin Durant? Is Jaylen Brown on the table? A lot of these questions were up in the air. And finally, we did get that answer. And it was that the Celtics ended up trading for Indiana Pacers guard Malcolm Brogdon. They sent Aaron Nesmith a couple of picks, and then basically our entire bench to Indiana in exchange for Brogdon. We did that, and then we also ended up signing a 3-point specialist Danilo Gallinari in free agency. So we made some pretty good moves in free agency. Brad Stevens basically put on a clinic the very first day. And let me say this, what was really impressive was the fact that we traded for Malcolm Brogdon and really didn't have to give up any big pieces. People are on the Nesmith train saying he could really be something, but at the same time, he's too young at this point to really decide. And the fact that we didn't even give up a Grant Williams for him, that's insane.
So first thing, the Celtics have had a very interesting relationship with the Indiana Pacers for a few years now when it's come to trades. The original one was Miles Turner, and this hit its height when the Time Lord was drafted, right? And this was back when Danny Ainge was in charge.
Yeah.
But we had an offer on the table. Sign and trade Gordon Hayward to the Pacers for Miles Turner and a first-round pick.
Yeah.
And it was denied, and Gordon Hayward just left in free agency to go to Charlotte. And I'm sitting there like, what the heck are you doing? I know we're trying to stockpile our first-round picks forever and ever, amen. But we're getting a first-round pick here, and we're getting the center that we've needed. Because at that point, we had Kyrie, who had just left. We're bringing in Kemba. So I'm like, why aren't we bringing him in? And the Miles Turner rumors round and around forever. Apparently,
I remember the Miles Turner rumors were insane. There were rumors at the time that we were going to trade for both Turner and Oladipo as well. I mean, those rumors were insane. So I will give you that.
There was some very PG things that I would have done to get Miles Turner on. Or PG-13, I should say. Some very PG-13 things that I would have done to get Miles Turner on.
I was about to say PG. What, are you going to hold hands with them or something? I was like, what are you doing? But anyways, So what's really impressive is the fact that, we still kept our main core together and only added to it. I mean, people have just, when the Brogdon trade came out, people were just saying, all right, what else is up here? Is there another shoe to drop? Is the Brogdon deal part of a 3-team trade?
What's the catch?
It was like, what's the catch? Because the result of it was like, wow, we just fleeced the Pacers. Like, wow, that was bad. So, I mean, it's looking like the Celtics are going to be incredibly deep next year. I think probably close to like 10 deep, which is insane.
Yeah.
And, we even have some great guys possibly in the summer league that, could contribute, well off the bench,
I don't think this year, maybe when we're injured, like halfway through the regular season, those guys will contribute. But JD Davidson's not going to make a significant impact for probably about 2-3 years.
Exactly.
But going back to what you said about what we gave up, Daniel Tice, 10 minutes a game during the regular season, 3 minutes a game during the finals.
Yeah. Let me say this. Thank God we gave up Daniel Tice. I could not stand him.
Come on.
I could not stand Daniel Tice because not only was he like every other Celtics player just looking to get a foul, flopping around and arguing for calls. For some reason, I don't know what it was, but he always just pissed me off when he was looking for a call. He always, just like the way he was like looking around, just being like, "Whoa, man, come on, that's not a foul." I always just want to be like, shut the hell up and just get back on defense.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do it with Daniel Tice. He always just pissed me off for some reason. Is he a good third center? Sure. But do we need a third center off our bench? No, we don't need that. We're all set. If we really need a guy, we'll get some we can try to acquire someone through the buyout market. But we'll
sign Dwight Howard on the minimum.
Exactly. We don't need to be doing that. And, the rest of those guys too, they're so young that I don't even know what that's going to look like. And then
I loved me some Daniel Tice. I'm not going to lie to you. I was so happy when we picked him back up. When he signed with the Rockets, I was just like, yeah, you're going to go lose for a while. You're not going to win anything. And then he came back to Boston. I'm like, yes, this is our moment. But then, like I said, he's 10 minutes a game. Aaron Nesmith, G Leaguer. I'm calling this now, and this can be a freezing cold take in 4 years. I really don't care. Aaron Nesmith, as it goes right now, his potential graph, he is a 15-minute per game rotational player on a championship team at best. Not really somebody we had in long-term visions for our team. And then the rest of the guys, Jawan Morgan, somebody, what was it? Marcus Fitz, I think his name was.
Malik Fitz.
Malik Fitz. And then one other dude whose name all G Leaguers, I don't think touched the floor for us this year. And we give a first-round pick next year that realistically is going to be in between 25 and 30.
Exactly. At that point, it's essentially meaningless. So
it's a second-round pick.
No, exactly. We fleeced the Pacers in this deal. And what I love about this deal, especially, is the fact that Malcolm Brogdon is, he has some of the defensive capabilities of Marcus Smart, but he's also a playmaker and makes up in the areas where Marcus Smart can't do that. And I like the fact that we didn't have to trade Marcus Smart. We're still going to have his strengths on this team, because I thought if we wanted to get a guy like Malcolm Brogdon, Smart's going to have to go in that deal. There's no way that he doesn't go in that deal. So, I like the fact that we have Brogdon, because he's going to be able to spread the ball around to Tatum and Brown more. I get some more plays going down low. He can score himself too, averages, close to 20 points a game. So that's even more of an output. Yeah, when he's healthy. Even if that output goes down to like 15 points a game because he's helping get the ball to Tatum and Brown more, I'm more than fine with that.
Now the question I have for you, who starts, Horford or Smart? Do you go small with Smart, or do you keep it big but still versatile with Horford being able to shoot, still play defense on the bigger centers?
I think you could see, I think what you're probably going to see is Marcus Smart come off the bench. I think you're going to see Malcolm Brogdon at the 1, Brown at the 2. Trying to think. You're going to probably see then
Tatum
at the 3. You could go Horford, or you could do an iteration then and have Smart start and then have Rob Williams down low and have Horford to come off the bench. I think that could work too. Because I think for Horford, having him as that bench guy, have him as that 6-man, kind of leadership position, bring him in, have him shoot a couple of threes, have him battle down low. That's probably going to be the best way to save Al Horford going forward. Because again, let's face it, Big Al gave us more than we thought, he possibly could this season.
Ever hope for.
And we want to savor that for as long as possible. So, limiting his minutes, getting him when it really counts, that's how we're going to have to probably take it next season. If he's still just an animal and ready to go, maybe that changes and you get him more involved in the lineup. But I'd say for right now, look at him as possibly your guy to come off the bench and go from there. Danilo Gallinari is an interesting move too, because, he's a 3-point specialist. Obviously the Celtics, can shoot the 3 ball pretty well, but
it's slightly above average.
Yeah, it's slightly above average. And Danilo Gallinari statistically is a very good 3-point shooter. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is. I don't know if Danilo Gallinari is going to work with this Celtics team. He averages about 11 to 12 points a game. I just don't know if the fit is going to work with this team, because I'm afraid that he's going to get isolated on the outside. Tatum and Brown are going to drive too much, and they're going to, try to create shots that way. And they're not really going to see Gallinari as open as you would think he would be.
But the best case scenario, if that happens, he's an 8th man, a 7th man maybe for us.
And that's
him and Grant Williams are going to be basically the same for us as somebody who can step in, play defense, and shoot threes.
Yeah,
we're going to have a facilitator out there to help.
And Rob, that's great and all. I mean, I think that's fine. But the thing with a Grant Williams and, guys like that is that they come in and, obviously any aspect of playing basketball at the professional level is going to be difficult. But I think you can come in and, get your defensive footing pretty easily. If you're on the bench, though, and you're that 8th man and your main thing is being a 3-point specialist and, not saying you had a cold night, but if you're just not, hot and shooting around like that, and it's like your numbers getting called as that 8th man, just being relied on to hit that one shot in your rotation during your time on the floor, there's no shot that's gonna, there's a good chance that's gonna hinder you.
Yeah, but that's his role at this point. There's no rebuilding team out there who's gonna want him to be a starter or a 6th man. They'd rather go young. So his role right now, with the age that he's at and his strengths as a player, is basically just to be a shooter that comes off the bench that plays good defense. You're the 7th, 8th man on a championship contender team. So if he doesn't work here, we're going to be like, okay, see you at the trade deadline, and we'll see you somewhere else. And I don't know. He'll get bought out by the other team. He'll then go to Milwaukee, Miami, LA, or Phoenix, and he'll have the same exact role. So it's not really like he has any chance to complain. He's just step in.
Rob.
He's going to do that.
Rob, I don't think he's necessarily going to complain. I just don't know if he's going to be able to, mesh well with the team, and we'll have that good kind of output. Same thing with like a Dennis Schroeder. Obviously, Schroeder, you did have the issues with the attitude, and that just really didn't work itself out well. But I fear that could happen with Gallinari, just because, I feel like maybe they could see him as one-dimensional, and that could, if that's not what the Celtics are going for that night, and say Gallinari has a cold night, that could really affect us. I think
if that's the case, goodbye.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the only reason I look at that is because I'm already seeing people come out now, Rob, and just saying, oh my God, the Celtics are so stacked next year. And frankly, I'm kind of on that train too. I'm like, listen, we're very deep next year, which is awesome. But it reminds me of a time when a bunch of Celtics players got on a Sports Illustrated cover, and it read, "Who's stopping them?" And the answer was themselves. That was the answer. I don't think that's going to happen, because you don't have the cancer that is Kyrie Irving, taking over this locker room. You don't have that issue anymore. But I would say look out for that, because we've had teams with depth before, and something has always kind of gone wrong with it. Maybe I'm just a little cautious and, still kind of traumatized as to what Kyrie Irving did to this group. But I'm still a little apprehensive there.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, like you said, it was just so many stars on the same team looking to get the ball. Tatum and Brown didn't really know their place yet. Marcus Smart was still trying to be that team-oriented guy, but nobody else was following. Kyrie Irving is Kyrie Irving. And Gordon Hayward was coming off an injury with the mindset of, look, I'm going into free agency. I need to get my stats up so I can get paid again. And that was basically the dynamic between the guys. And Tatum was like, well, I was the third pick for a reason. Brown was like, well, I was the third pick for a reason. We need the ball. So it was much better for us to get rid of them. And then the same thing kind of happened this year, where it was a difference in opinion, where Tatum and Brown were looking to get their stats, and it wasn't helping. And then we had that whole thing in January. We had the players only meeting. Marcus Smart did his best WWE impression, chucked a chair, and then the energy shifted.
Yeah.
You know? I think this team finally has that. As long as Tatum, Brown, and Smart are your top three, not even top three, your top three voices in the locker room, that energy is going to stay the same. Mm-hmm. I don't think we have to worry about that for a while.
Yeah, I do hope that's the case. I mean, hopefully all my fears are proven wrong, and this depth just is enough to get the Celtics over the top. In your opinion, does this get the Celtics over the top, all the acquisitions that we've made? Is it enough to win us a championship?
Depends where Kevin Durant goes. Kevin Durant stays in Brooklyn with Kyrie. Yes, we're back in the finals. That was our missing piece. You know, that was our... I mean, we took the hardest road to the finals humanly possible last season. We went through every big name in the East, besides the 76ers, and you can debate in the comments whether you think the 76ers are that team. But we went through the hardest road without a playmaking point guard. As much as I love Marcus Smart, he ain't that, right? This brings us back to the finals. This was our weakness against the Warriors. Playmaking point guard and somebody to help on the defensive side to stop Curry. As much as I love Derek White, when he got shifted on to Steph Curry, it was like, okay, let's have the ball go back that way. They have a minimum of 2 points on the board, right? So honestly, but the reason I say what I say, if Kevin Durant goes to Miami, I don't care if they have to give the whole bench. We need to repeat 2012 with the big three of Jimmy Butler, KD, and Bam. I don't think we get past that. I think just pure star power alone gets them over. But if he's not traded to Miami, then yeah, we're back in the finals.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I haven't heard anything too much about the about KD going out of Miami. I haven't heard that too crazy so far.
It's one of his preferred destinations. That and Phoenix. The 2 number 1 seats are his choosing destinations.
Of course they are. It's only fitting that Kevin Durant's going to want to go to a team that is just ready for him to be dropped into. And
it's poetic.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's poetic as well that that there were some reports that maybe Golden State would entertain some interest in putting out a trade package for KD. And I was like,
why wouldn't you?
No, absolutely. I was just like, are we seriously repeating 2016 all over again? This is insane.
Yeah, I mean, you give up Andrew Wiggins. You have to give up Andrew Wiggins. You paid him.
Well, Wiggins is gone now. Wait, is Wiggins gone now?
No, he's still there.
Okay, my bad. I was thinking of Peyton.
Gary Payton, yeah, he's in Portland.
Yeah, that's
live out the rest of his days with an 8th seed in the playoffs, and just keep going with that. But anyway, yeah, you give up Wiggins, and they haven't given up any other draft capital. You can give up the house, and you'd have to throw in either Kuminga, Moody, some young players, maybe both, and 4 first-round picks.
Yeah,
but still, you get right back to where you were. You're the dynasty. And that kind of brings me back to, and I wanted to ask you this: is the buying a dynasty stage officially over? You know, like if you look at some of the biggest dynasties out there, 2008 Celtics. As much as I hate to say it, they were a bought dynasty. 2 out of the 3 main pieces were bought. The Warriors were a homegrown dynasty for the majority. They had 1 piece that they brought in. The Heat. Bought dynasty. You look at the last bought dynasties that we've had, 76ers fizzled. Let me see, who else am I thinking of?
The Brooklyn Nets.
The Brooklyn Nets. Shambles. Is that buying a big 3 done?
Rob, I think that there's always a chance that you people look at it and say, oh, it's done. But then again, it's just a matter of when that next shoe drops. And frankly, I think that if Kevin Durant's to go to Miami, then that dynasty is far from over, because that's not fizzling out. Like you said, they're going to be able to go on and win. We've seen a lot more teams do it go homegrown recently, because that's kind of just been the way that the league has gone. Ever since KD went to not OKC, went to Golden State. That really kind of, shaped the landscape there. And a lot of teams were kind of trying to figure out, all right, how can we even get past these guys? I mean, if you want to think of a bot, maybe not dynasty, but a bot championship, at least, was the Toronto Raptors. They went out, they traded for Kawhi Leonard. They ended up winning the 2019 finals.
But still, would you consider that bot? I mean, when I see a team that is one piece away, I don't consider that a bot championship. Everything else that they had, 1,000% homegrown, and nobody on that team was even drafted in the lottery.
Yeah, but you could make a case so that was bot as to what they had to give up. They had to give up significant draft capital, as well as one of the staples of their franchise in DeMar DeRozan. So, maybe the price isn't always money, but it is in what you have to give up, because the Raptors did have to give up, a homegrown star in order to get Kawhi Leonard, and Leonard left after that 1 year. So they did have to pay a price.
And nobody blamed him for it.
No, yeah, all the people at Toronto.
What he had to do.
No, the people of Toronto were just like, oh, sorry, we get it.
They helped him pack the suitcase. They said, hey, man, we love you. Good luck.
No,
they
exactly.
were fine with it. They were like, you know what? Give us our one championship.
No, yeah. So they were fine with that, and I completely get that. So I think that the era of bot championships isn't over. It's just a matter of when that next shoe is going to drop. That's my opinion of it.
When it's going to be successful.
Yeah, that's the thing too. And I think Kevin Durant to the definitely to the Heat would be another sign of that. I think to the Warriors, obviously they did it before and it worked. So I mean, they could definitely do it again. That's all I'm gonna say. But Rob, we've been talking for a while now. I hate to say it, but we are officially down to the wire.
Before we go down to the wire, two things. I need to call you out in front of your fans.
What's up?
Before we get to that point. First, you record your episodes at 10 p.m., 11 p.m. at night. All right. I just realized how late it is. It's 9 o'clock over here in Denver, so it's 11 o'clock over there. Second, not last week, but 2 weeks ago, I messaged the one and only Brian Kostiw. Hey, can you come on the show? Yeah, I might be able to squeeze it in. When are you thinking? I said, doesn't really matter, either Saturday or Sunday, whatever's good for you. And if I can pull it up, what's your name? And I can't see you on here. But basically, I just said, yeah, whenever you're available, just let me know. And this mother left me on red. He said, I'm sorry, I'm not available today. I said, tomorrow, usually record on Sundays. If not, we can reschedule for next week. I can get somebody else. And he left me on red. Kostiw, would you like to explain yourself to the people?
I mean, I'd be happy to. I mean, obviously, I've been talking throughout this entire episode about having, work conflicts, about doing other things. And I'm sorry that it wasn't able to work out, Rob. I also had I was telling you, Rob, I had a interesting situation go on at one of my baseball games today. I was actually having one of those the last time that we had a show. So before we started the show, I actually posted a video. I saw a video of some kids at a baseball game I was at, and I'm in a men's league, and kids on the other team literally had a hookah in their dugout. And listen, let me just tell you, Rob.
To ask, did you join in?
I did not. Rob, this is the weirdest league I've ever been in my life, because half of it is that, and then half of it is hardos trying to go win a championship. I love it. It's so ridiculous, but I love it too. It's interesting. It's great to be back out there on the baseball field again. So I'm sorry that I wasn't able to get on with you last time. I'll try to make that up for you in the future and try to get you on again.
This weekend, you owe me.
Yeah, I'll have to see if I'm around.
I need you on the show.
I'm gonna have to see if I'm around. I may have some. I may be attending some Fenway activities, so that may be in the works.
Killing me. Okay, continue on with your little segment. I know my place.
All right, we're down to the wire now. We got Mr. Robert Shelley on the show. Obviously, he's still a little butthurt that I wasn't able to join him on his. But Rob, we do thank you for coming on the show because guess what? I know that this was definitely not the best spot. We are recording this at 11 at night, and it's because you know what? Grind doesn't stop. Have to keep going. So we do have to keep on doing that. So I appreciate Rob for coming on. We were able to talk about Chris Sale trashing the Woo Sox clubhouse after a tough rehab start today. Or rather yesterday, maybe now 2 days ago, based on when I post this episode. We talked about Rob Manfred looking at expanding the major leagues to 32 teams. We talked about potential cities that the MLB could expand to. And then jumped over to NFL news to talk about Baker Mayfield being traded to the Carolina Panthers and his new teammate, Robbie Anderson, his previous reaction to Baker Mayfield possibly going to the team. So we talked about that. It was a interesting scenario there. And then finally, we jumped over into NBA news and covered Malcolm Brogdon and Danilo Gallinari going to the Boston Celtics. We gave our thoughts on whether the Celtics would be able to make it back to the finals and win a championship, and whether the era of bot dynasties is over. Obviously, Rob, thank you for coming on again, man. I really appreciate it.
Hey, it's always awesome to get on. Hopefully, I can't even remember the last time I was on the show.
Yeah,
I think this is the first time this year. The last time I remember was last summer.
It can't be the first time this year. You know what? It definitely wasn't because we did one after Brady retired.
Oh, we did the crossover episode.
Yeah, we did do that crossover episode.
I was on.
Yeah,
but we all kind of posted it, but
that was a joint effort that we did there. So we'll have to.
And it came up to nothing. Adam was right, and I hate it.
I hate it too. We did a whole retirement special. It was a crazy thing that we did, and it was all for nothing. But Rob, again, we really appreciate it. We had a great time talking about all this stuff on the show today. Is there anything that you want to say before we sign off?
Go Red Sox, and I enjoyed my 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah. For any of you guys, make sure you go follow Rob's page on Instagram. It's at Pesky Pole Podcast on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then make sure to go follow at down.to-the-wire on Instagram. You can find links to all of our Spotify pages, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcast, and more. You can find the links to our YouTube page where you can watch the video stream of this show and get all access to that sort of content. So again, at down.to-the-wire on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for watching. And from Down the Wire, I'm Brian Costa.
And I'm Robert Shelley.
And we hope you guys have a great day. Take care and peace out.